Friends, I welcome you to my channel. Before listening to this story, I will ask you to like and subscribe. It is not difficult for you, but it is pleasant for me. And we're starting. As usual, Harvey was sitting in his deep armchair with a beer in his hand and watching a baseball game on a big screen TV. Betsy went upstairs after dinner. He had no idea what she was doing. He didn't care. As far as he knew, it was just another night at home. However, shortly before 7 o'clock, the doorbell rang. Before Harvey could get up, Betsy shouted from above, "Harvey, could you open it, please?" Of course. I was going to do it anyway. He went to the door and opened it to see a well-dressed man who was unfamiliar to him. "Yes, can I help you? I hope you're not selling anything." "No, I'm here to pick up Betsy." "Why?" "We have a date." Harvey's eyes bulged out of his head. "Do you have a date with my wife, Betsy?" "Yes." Harvey stood there for a moment, trying to figure out what to do. "I'll call her." He went to the foot of the stairs and shouted up, "Betsy, your date is here." He expected her to ask, "What date?" or "It's not really a date." Instead, she said, "Tell him I'll be right there." Harvey just stood there and wondered what was going on. When she entered the living room, she was wearing a short evening dress showing off a large cleavage, and there was a lot of makeup on her face. Harvey asked, "Betsy, tell me, what the hell is going on?" "I'm going on a date. Married women don't date anyone except their husband." "I'm coming. I'm tired of spending my evenings watching you drink beer and watch curling or some other exciting sport. The most I want you to do is belch or fart. And you don't even apologize anymore when you do it. When was the last time we did something exciting? If you can't pay any attention to me or give me a chance to have fun, I'll find someone who can." She pointed her index finger at his chest for emphasis. "Now don't wait for me. If I'm lucky, I might not be back until morning." She left, slamming the door behind her. Betsy got into a waiting car and told the driver to get moving. Once away from home, he stopped and they both started laughing. Betsy said, "I wish I had a picture of his expression. It was priceless. If it doesn't make him turn from a sloth into an ordinary person, I don't know what can help then. Don't you think that might make him angry and make the situation worse?" "I doubt it. He'll probably just sit there and wonder what happened. I'll be back before he gets too upset. I don't think he would consider a divorce so quickly, but I'm willing to take the risk. I probably shouldn't have added that part about me not being home until tomorrow. Well, it's too late now. Given the way our marriage is shaping up, I think I'd rather get divorced than continue like this. Damn him. I love this idiot to death, but I just wish he cared more about me and us. Well, go around the block. We'll come back and I'll see how he's doing." After driving around the neighborhood, Betsy and her beau pulled into the driveway and parked. Harvey didn't run outside, as Betsy had hoped. She came in and didn't see him in the living room, even though the TV was on. She quickly scanned the lower floor and went upstairs. He's gone. Then she called him on his cell phone. She heard the bell ring. Betsy ran over and saw his cell phone on the nightstand. His wedding ring was lying next to it. She quickly looked around the room. Several of his personal belongings were missing. Oh shit. Betsy ran downstairs to tell her friend about what had happened and check if Harvey's car was in the garage. She disappeared. The man asked, "Where do you think he is?" "He probably went to the bar to get drunk. In the worst case, he might even spend the night in a motel. I imagine him sulking like a little kid. He'll pay for it when he comes back and forgets my joke. On the other hand, his departure, in the end, may be for the best. If he feels bad about forcing me to go out of my way to motivate him, I don't mind letting him keep feeling bad for a little longer." Harvey did not return or call that night or the next morning. Later the next day, when Betsy couldn't take it anymore, she called Harvey's private secretary long before he was supposed to return from lunch. "Barbara, put me through to my husband, please." "It won't work." "Betsy, what the hell is going on?" "Harvey comes staggering in this morning and tells me to shut up and listen. He tells me he's taking the day off because he has a lot of personal stuff to take care of. Then he asks me who handles our company's health insurance. I gave him the name of a girl from the Human Resources Department who deals with health insurance. It helped him. He didn't want to talk to me anymore. He left without saying a word of thanks or anything else. It's not like Harvey at all. Do you know what happened to him? Has any close relative died or something like that? I am what happened to him. I pulled off a trick that turned into unpleasant consequences. As soon as I talk to him and kiss his ass, I hope he gets back to normal. Now, could you transfer me to that girl from the HR department? Of course. HR department, Rhonda. I'd like to talk to Sylvia, please. She is currently being briefed by a new employee. Can anyone else help you? Can anyone tell me what Harvey Strickland did in your HR department today? I can look through his file, but I need his permission to provide you with any information. I'm his wife. Is there anything you can tell me? I can look at your coverage according to his policy. Wait, let me see. It's a coincidence. We should have contacted you today anyway. You should receive an official notification by mail that you are no longer covered by your husband's health insurance. You can keep your insurance coverage for 180 days before it expires if you pay off the debt. That's the only thing he's changed. Stunned, Betsy just sobbed, "Thanks," and hung up. Why did Harvey take me off his health insurance? And then it dawned on her. She immediately went to her computer to check their online bank accounts. Half of the money was withdrawn from the current and savings accounts. Oh shit, he's in the process of divorcing me. Betsy couldn't decide what to do next. She didn't think for long before her phone rang. It was their life insurance agent and Larry's family friend. This is Betsy. Hello, Larry. Betsy, can you tell me what the hell is going on? Harvey came here, canceled the automatic payments on your life insurance, and changed the beneficiary of the life insurance to the girls. No money should go to you. In addition, the automatic withdrawal of funds to pay for life insurance has been transferred to a new account. He said he was sure he wanted it to be like this. I will have to send you an official notification about the change of beneficiary and the termination of your life insurance payment. I'm sorry. I guess you guys must be splitting up. Betsy, I'm sorry about this. Please come to me as soon as possible so that your life insurance does not expire. Am I right about you two getting divorced? Yes. Thank you. I can't tell you anything else right now. But you really didn't tell me anything. Yes. She hung up the phone. 2 minutes later, their lawyer, neighbor, and friend Doug called. Betsy stupidly answered. Hello. Betsy, this is Doug. Can you tell me what the hell is going on? Harvey came here and changed his will to the fact that the children get everything from him, and you get nothing. He also crossed you off the list of people who could be a medical assistant for him. He refused to tell me why, and said he didn't care if I told you or not. Then he asked me for a referral to a family lawyer. I'm guessing that you two have had serious problems, and you're thinking about getting a divorce. Look, I can always change everything if you guys get back together. I am very sorry that this is happening. Marilyn and I have a very high opinion of both of you. I have to run now, but I wish you both the best. Betsy answered weakly, okay. The next call was from their twin daughters, who went to college together. Mom, what the hell is going on? Dad called us all devoted to you. He said you were dating and making love to other men. Then he told us that he was going to stay out of touch for a while, so that you would have the freedom to meet other people before the divorce. He said he took care of our future college expenses. We tried to ask questions, but he ignored us. He told us to remember that he loves us and hung up. Mom, we are afraid that Dad will hurt himself. Can you tell us what happened to make him so depressed? I'm the fool who made him depressed, and I'm trying to find him to apologize. The problem is that I can't find it in any way. Maybe I can give it a try. Hey, I'm getting another call. Maybe it's him. Call us back. Hello, Harvey? No, it's your mother-in-law, Doris. What the hell is going on? My son called me crying like a baby. He said something about you making love to a group of men in some nightclub. He seemed drunk, so I wasn't sure if his story was true. All I know is that he was very depressed. Anyway, he said he was going to solve the problem by giving you your freedom. The worst part is that he thanked me and my father for bringing him up properly. He then apologized for betraying his upbringing by letting us down. He said goodbye. I didn't like his tone. He hung up before we could ask any more questions. He wasn't answering his phone when we called him back. Betsy, I'm afraid he might do something stupid. What happened between the two of you? I was trying to get Harvey to get out of his empty nest rut and enjoy life with his wife. I decided to do something crazy to get him out of his depression. I pretended that I was going on a date with another man. I haven't been home for 10 minutes. 10 lousy minutes. When I returned, he was gone. Today I found out that he has done some things that look like he is going to divorce me. I'm trying to find him to stop this madness, but I can't get him to talk to him. So it's your fault that my son is planning to kill himself. Let me tell you something. If he dies, I will hold you personally responsible." A click. Betsy couldn't think straight. She called all the local hotels and motels. Harvey was not listed as a client in any of them. Betsy called the police and tried to file a missing person report, telling them she was afraid he was going to commit suicide. This information was of no importance. She would have to wait another day before reporting it. Betsy took a sleeping pill to fall asleep. Fortunately, she knew the code of the safe where Harvey kept his automatic pistol and ammunition. She woke up sleepy and turned on the news on TV. A live interview from the scene of the accident was broadcast on the local news channel. "This is Lamar Jackson from TV3 News. It looks like Bender's Curve claimed another victim or victims last night. I'm here with Sergeant Cantor, the state police." "Sergeant Cantor, can you tell us exactly what happened?" "It looks like the car went off a cliff. You can see that he has passed the strongest part of the reinforced fences. The driver was either unlucky or he knew what he was doing." "What is known at the moment?" "Given the absence of signs of braking, it seems that the driver could have lost consciousness, been intoxicated, or could have committed suicide." "How did you even know there was an accident?" "The police were called by a driver driving in the opposite direction." "He's here now." The camera switched to the young man. The reporter approached him. "Young man, what is your name?" "I'm Sean Carpenter. Am I being shown on TV?" "I just want to say hello to my mom." "Hi, Mom." He was smiling from ear to ear. "Sean, tell us what you saw." "Well, I was driving home when I saw this big truck heading my way. He wagged a bit, and then he moved into my lane. I slammed on the brakes, and he suddenly swerved very quickly to the right, crashed into a guardrail, and fell off a cliff." "Can you describe the truck?" "Of course. It was a red Ford F-150, probably 19 years old. He had a sticker on the back window with a picture of a Highlander from Western Kentucky." "Did you see who was driving?" "No. The truck's headlights were on, and I only caught a glimpse of the man behind the wheel. He looked like a man. I don't think there were any passengers there. That's all I know." "Thanks." "Sergeant Cantor, did you call for help to find the truck that crashed into the fence?" "Well, we don't know for sure what it was that broke through the fence. We assume it was a truck, as reported by Mr. Carpenter. It's impossible to see what it is from here. We have a search and recovery team in the mountains, but they are currently conducting search and rescue operations in another part of the state. I do not know when they will be able to go down there and check. But what if someone is still alive down there and needs medical attention? Then you will witness a real miracle. No normal person would be able to survive such a fall on these rocks. I would not endanger the lives of those who are not qualified enough to try to go on an expedition just to find out. We just need to wait for the mountain rescue team." Betsy didn't have to wait to guess what had happened and who was dead. She started crying as soon as they said, "A red Ford F-150 with a WKU Hiltipur sticker." She ignored the ringing phone. It was already the third hour of her sobbing alone before the twins appeared. When she didn't answer their call, they got worried and hurried back home to be with her. Their grandmother called and told them the news on TV about the red F-150. Despite the absence of a body, they were almost certain that it was their father who had crashed. The eldest of the twins answered her mother's phone and handed her the phone. The identification line contained the name of the law firm. "Hello, this is Betsy Strickland." She could hardly pronounce the last name because of suffocation. "Mrs. Strickland, my name is Chris Andrews. I'm a lawyer in the same office where your friend Doug works. Your husband hired me to represent him in the divorce proceedings. I probably shouldn't have called you, but Doug talked me into it. I was contacted by the Riverton police from Caldwell County. They were called to the scene of the robbery. The defendant suffered a head injury. His wallet and keys were stolen. He was taken to the emergency room, and shortly after that he was sent for surgery. The unknown man was put into a coma to relieve pressure on his brain. The only thing he had on him was the key to the motel room. They traced him to Harvey Strickland. Among the papers in his hotel room is a copy of the divorce agreement that made me responsible for his divorce proceedings. That's why they called me. Your husband ordered me to handle the divorce because he didn't want you to have to deal with him directly in any way. I have to inform you that you are not allowed to see him at the hospital. I based this decision on the very clear verbal instructions given to me by Mr. Strickland regarding his relationship with you. Your children, however, can visit him, but I have a say in the admission of visitors. What? He's my husband. Of course I can see him. I am very sorry, but the order that he signed gives me and only me the right to make decisions regarding the divorce, as well as regarding his medical care. I have to follow his last verbal instructions. If you want to hire a lawyer to challenge this, act now. Isn't the divorce process canceled because of his condition? No, ma'am. I was given clear instructions to seek a divorce no matter what, although I don't think he foresaw that he would be robbed. Does this mean that all financial, insurance, and beneficial actions that he has taken will not be canceled? Yes, ma'am. All of them have been completed by him, and at the moment I don't see any evidence that he wants them to be canceled. Of course, there is no such evidence. He's in a coma. It's just ridiculous. I tricked my husband into believing that I was going on a date with another man. When I came back to tell him it was a joke, he had already left. He got rid of his cell phone, so I couldn't tell him it was a joke. There is no reason for the divorce and no reason for the actions he took in relation to the joke. I don't want to be disrespectful, but that's what you're saying now. I have to follow what Mr. Strickland instructed me to do and confirmed in writing. I have no other choice. I hate to tell you this, but you will be served at work tomorrow as requested by Mr. Strickland. As soon as you get a lawyer, ask him or her to contact me about how to proceed. I don't care. He's my husband, and I'm going to see him if I want to. I forgot to tell you. The envelope you receive contains a restraining order ordering you to stay at least 1,000 feet away from him. The petition he proposed is very generous. He stated that he wants you to have a chance with the man you really want now. Betsy told the children about what the lawyer had said. It was impossible to believe what had happened. Betsy said she was going to the hospital, no matter what they said. The girls agreed to accompany her. It didn't take long. The hospital did not have a copy of the court order banning it, but no visitors were allowed to it due to COVID restrictions for all hospital patients. They said that once he was transferred to the intensive care unit, he would be able to be visited, but only by one person for 10 minutes every 2 hours. Betsy and her daughters returned home unsatisfied. By the time Harvey was admitted to the intensive care unit, the injunction had already been issued. One daughter could visit him, but what good would that do? He was unconscious, and if he understood any of what they were saying, they couldn't say it. A few days later, a mountain search and rescue team found the truck. It was assumed that the robber was a dead man driving. Harvey's wallet was there, and several hundred of the $6,000 were missing. Probably the reason for this was the discovery of several bottles of rare Kentucky bourbon. One was more than half empty. Time passed. Betsy found herself in a difficult financial situation. Harvey forgot to transfer the deposit on his check to the couple's joint account, which paid for the mortgage and other bills. Betsy did hire a lawyer, who appealed to the court to grant her access to half of the money remaining in the account. Finally, it's time to bring Harvey out of a coma caused by illegal substances and bring him back to consciousness. When he woke up, he said he didn't know who he was. The diagnosis was temporary amnesia. Linda, one of the twins, brought photos and evoked memories to refresh his memory. All efforts were in vain. Nor did he remember the lawyer who had his power of attorney. In his condition, he was considered insufficiently informed to be able to lift the restraining order. When Harvey came out of his coma, he was given a memory test to find out if he had amnesia. Harvey quickly realized that this was exactly what they were doing and immediately decided to pretend. He was told that his daughters wanted to see him. Carol, the other twin, saw him first. He asked her who she was. "Dad, I'm one of your daughters, Carol. You were attacked and fell into a coma. We've been waiting for you to wake up." "We?" "Yes, Linda and I, and Mom, your wife." "Do I have a wife?" "Yes." "Why isn't she here?" "She is forbidden to come. You two had a misunderstanding, and there's an injunction against visiting her." "My God, does she really want to hurt me?" "No, Dad. She's not a threat to you. You're really mad at her." "Because of what?" "She pretended to go on a date with another man. Before she came back to tell you it was a joke, you left and started divorce proceedings. Now that you're awake, you can cancel it all." "How do I know she didn't go on a date?" "She says she didn't do it." "Didn't you just say that she said she was going on a date?" "Yes, but it was a lie." "So she lied about being on a date, but then it turns out she's telling the truth about not going on a date." I may not remember you and her, but I'm not stupid. I have to assume that I took action to protect myself. I'm sorry, miss, but your 10 minutes are up. You'll have to leave right now. 2 hours later, his second daughter arrived. I've talked to you before, haven't I? No, it was my twin sister, Carol. I'm Linda. Don't you recognize me? I'm sorry, but not yet. You and your sister are very attractive young women. Were we on good terms? I understand your mother and I were separated. We are on good terms. Your mother played a prank on you, and you were attacked. You got a head injury before she could tell you it was a joke. You started taking steps towards divorce even before you found out about it. You have to stop this, Dad. I do not know what to do. I do not know if you are my daughter or not. I do not know who my wife is, if I have a wife at all. I don't think I should do anything before my memory returns. If it does, do I have a lawyer? You have two of them, one for routine cases and one divorce lawyer. You gave him permission to divorce. Maybe if I talk to him, it will help me refresh my memory. Can you contact him or her and ask her to come and visit me? Of course. Anything that can bring back your memory. Dad, can you let Mom visit you? It kills her that she can't see you and apologize. I don't think I'd feel safe around her. Maybe later. Mr. Strickland, I'm Chris Andrews, your family law attorney. Do you remember me? Is everything we're talking about confidential? Absolutely. Good. I don't have any amnesia. I'm trying to figure out what to do with the divorce. What I remember is that I told you to give her more so she could move on without me. That's right. She was served and got a lawyer. Do you want to terminate the contract and end the divorce? No and no. Can you investigate her alleged lack of a date and let me know what you find? I can hire someone on your behalf if you'll let me do it. Do it. Harvey continued to pretend to have amnesia and continued to talk to his daughters, ignoring their pleas to see their mother and end the divorce. He was waiting for a report from his lawyer. The report came in a few days later. According to private detectives, there is not enough evidence to prove whether she went on a date or not. The man she was with swears that nothing happened, but he is married and may be afraid to tell the truth. It's up to you to believe her or not. I was afraid of that. Thanks for the information. I think it's time for me to get my memory back. I want you to continue the divorce process. Carol was the only one who heard him say her name from memory. Soon after, he told her that memories came flooding back, including the night of Betsy's betrayal or deception, depending on what to believe. He agreed to meet with Betsy. After hugs and tears, Betsy began. Harvey, it was a trick, a sneaky trick with you to make you change. Doug and I only drove around the block, but by the time we got back, you were gone. How do I know it's true? I can ask Doug to come and tell you. He was the one who helped me pull off this trick. So, I have to take the word of the man you cheated on me with to convince me that you didn't cheat on me. I'm sorry, but this dog doesn't hunt. I tried to call you, but you left your phone at home. I sat waiting for you all night, but you never came back. Was anyone there while you were waiting? Doug stayed there for a couple of hours and then went home. Somehow I'm sure he'll vouch for you. I waited for your call until the next day when I called you at the office. That's when I found out that you took a burnout approach to my fake novel. You looked like you couldn't wait to get rid of me. And why not? You told me to my face that you were going to cheat on me. You said you wanted another man who stood in front of me in my house. I was devastated, but because I loved you, I wanted to give you what you wanted as soon as possible. Besides, I didn't want to be married to you anymore because you weren't keeping our marriage vows anymore. Why prolong the agony? Let's move on and get divorced. I don't want a divorce. I didn't really plan on cheating on you and I never did. I wanted to encourage you to fight for me and bring some life back to our marriage. Obviously, I chose the wrong way to do it. I'm sorry. Please, Harvey, stop the divorce and let's get back to our lives. I love you. Even if what you said is true, and I still don't believe it, you played a cruel, nasty trick on me. I do not know if I want to stay married to a woman who does such things. At the moment, I am continuing the divorce process and will move into my own apartment when I get out of the hospital. Harvey, this is such a waste of money. You have a house and a bed. I'll move to another room in the house for a while, if that's what it takes to get you back. Visiting time is over, and I want to see my daughters. Betsy was sent out of the ward. The twins were trying to support their mother's cause. Neither of them could explain how much time their mother spent with Doug that night, so it didn't make any difference to Harvey. When it came time for him to check out, he actually moved into an apartment next to his job. The divorce continued until it got to the point that Betsy's lawyer demanded mandatory counseling for them, 12 sessions. Harvey offered no resistance. Betsy went first. I love my husband very much. We had a wonderful marriage, and we raised 2 wonderful girls together. I think the empty nest syndrome hit him harder than it hit me. I wanted to fill this gap by spending more time with him doing different things, rather than just physically being in the same house together. Harvey seemed to have moved on from our marriage. I decided to shake him so that he would pay more attention to me. I persuaded a male friend from work to join me in what I called shock therapy. One night I pretended to go on a date with him. My date, and I drove around the block so I could come back and tell Harvey that it was a joke designed to provoke him to get angry about our marriage again. When we returned 10 minutes later, he was gone, and I didn't have a chance to talk to him. I waited until the next day, when I called his office and found out that he had taken several steps to divorce me. It was a few days later when I found out that Harvey had been robbed and was in a coma. When he came out of the coma, he didn't believe that my fake date trip was a ruse, and I wasn't really going to date other men. He has been seeking a divorce ever since. I apologize for my mistake and beg him to give me a second chance. Harvey, what is your summary of what happened? She's accurate about what she said, but she left out a few details. When her beau showed up, she not only told me she was dating him, despite my objections, she said she hoped to spend the night making love to him. At that moment, as I understood it, my marriage died. I assumed it was my fault that our marriage had broken down, so I wanted to leave as soon as possible. I left my house and hers so she could have the man she wanted and I could start over too. I took measures to quickly separate us. I gave the attorney power of attorney because I didn't want to even think about Betsy anymore, let alone talk to her. I would give her a generous divorce and get on with my life. I did not know that I was going to be robbed, and even more so I did not expect that I would be in a coma. When I came out of the coma, I didn't remember who I was. Sometimes I wish I'd stayed in a coma and had my memories of that night restored. Betsy says she didn't actually go on a date, but she doesn't give any evidence. In my opinion, it's just as likely that she actually went on a date and slept with this guy, Doug. I think she only changed her mind when she realized what all this would mean for her socially and financially. Now I'm being asked to believe that it was just a joke, and I have to go back to live with a woman who didn't mind breaking my heart. Even if she's telling the truth, she's a wife who's proven she's ready to hurt me whenever she sees fit. How can I live with this? Every night when I come home, do I have to worry about what awaits me? A loving wife or a cheating woman going on a date? It would be cleaner if we got divorced. She and Doug can have a life together, and I can try to move on. It seems that we have a lot to talk about. Everything went to a dead end until Betsy brought Doug to the session. Harvey, I want to apologize for my part in the prank. Betsy assured me that everything would be fine. I was very doubtful when she got into my car. I swear, we only drove around the block before returning to the house. She was shocked to learn that you had left. We found out that you dropped your phone when we found it in your room. I stayed with her, waiting for you to come back. Most of the time she complained about what we had done and how much you meant to her. After a while, I left. I'm sorry again. Do you believe me now, Harvey? His words certainly sound sincere, but maybe he's just a good actor. Harvey, there doesn't seem to be anything I can do to prove to you that it was just a joke. Despite the precedent, I will never make fun of you again. Can't you just believe me? Let's see. You lied to me that night when you said you were going to spend the night with Doug. Then you claim that you didn't do anything. You repeat that you are not lying now. Next, you want me to believe that you won't do anything like that again in the future. How do I know where the lies are and where the truth is? It all comes down to trust, Harvey. If we want to be together again, you'll have to trust me. If you can't do that, I'll agree to divorce you. The counselor spoke up. I have a suggestion. How about a post-nuptial agreement, which should stipulate that if Betsy does it again, you will receive all the property in the divorce. Would you be willing to sign this, Betsy? Yes, yes. Harvey, I think I could try. Betsy came over and hugged him. Harvey slowly integrated back into his marriage with Betsy. It was quite a long time before he and Betsy found themselves in the same bed. Their interaction was very fragile. Over time, They developed a relationship that included more walking, doing household projects together, visiting their daughters, and traveling. Their bed life was more active than before the incident. Betsy began to feel comfortable at home. One day Harvey called and told Betsy not to cook dinner. It looked like they were going to go somewhere. He had to hang up quickly, so Betsy didn't know what the reason was. She did remember the reorganization going on at his job in connection with the merger. Betsy assumed that he had received good news about his position after the reorganization. Harvey entered the house and immediately went upstairs. "I'm changing for tonight," was his comment on the way. Shortly after, the doorbell rang. Betsy opened it. Standing in front of her was a woman who looked about 10 years younger than them. She was very attractive and professionally dressed. "Yes, can I help you? I'm here because of Harvey. We're going to a place tonight." Betsy remembered the incident she was trying to forget. She thought he was finally trying to get revenge. There was an idea of what to do. She invited the woman in. "You have a lovely house, Mrs. Strickland." "Thanks. Excuse me for a moment. I need to tell Harvey that you're here." She called out, "Harvey, your date is here." His answer was unclear. She assumed he said he was coming down now. She returned to the woman. Betsy was about to ask her a question when she heard Harvey coming down the stairs. She went into action. Betsy wrapped her arms around the woman's throat and began to strangle her slightly. "You're a husband-stealing fool." The woman, whom Betsy took to be part of a reverse joke, began to resist. Harvey screamed, "Betsy, stop! What the hell is going on?" Betsy started laughing. "This time I caught you trying to make fun of me." "What kind of joke?" "This is my new supervisor for the merger, Amanda Briggs." "Amanda, I'm so sorry. I do not know what came over her." Amanda frowned at him. "I like to think that my charges are normal people both during working and off hours. You can say goodbye to your new position if that's what you think is normal. I'll be in the car waiting for you to take me back to the hotel." "Amanda, please give me a chance to explain before I do anything rash." She ran out the door. Betsy was crying on the couch. "Thanks a lot, Betsy. Just when I thought our marriage was back to normal, you're ruining our marriage and my job. Here it is. I'm leaving to try to keep my job. I'm not going to go back and save my marriage." He headed for the car. Betsy ran upstairs and fell on the bed, sobbing. "What the hell is going on? What have I done?" About 15 minutes later, Harvey and Amanda returned to the house. He called Betsy to come downstairs. They explained to her that she had been played. Betsy clung to Harvey and screamed that she was very sorry. Later, they went out to dinner and had a few drinks. Amanda told how she was afraid she would be hurt, but Harvey's help with the joke was worth it. Betsy finally got to the point where she could share the laughter with the others. When Betsy and Harvey returned home, she went to clean up the kitchen before going to bed. Harvey went upstairs. He immediately saw that his automatic pistol, which he kept under lock and key, was lying on Betsy's bedside table. After examining the gun, he found that there was a bullet in the chamber, and the safety had been removed. His heart sank into his stomach.